The administration of President Adeyanju coming up in Ekiti State.
In every human organization, there are bound to be disagreements, and in most cases, such disagreement will lead to positive development. So, what you people call crisis is a sort of disagreement within the parties, and very soon we are going to resolve it and overcome it. I don't see it as a threatening crisis within the party. What actually happened was that immediately after we lost the last gubernatorial election, some of us felt that the campaign was not properly managed, the election was not properly managed, and there were some mistakes made by the leadership of the party. So we sat down and decided on the way forward. So one of the suggested solutions is that the party must be strengthened, the party must be repositioned, the party must be re-energized, because when the gubernatorial candidate of the party happened to be the former chairman of the party, Kolawole, and when he left the office was handed over to his deputy, who was acting as the acting chairman of the party in that acting capacity. So after the election now, some of us sat down and said, okay, we should now have a substantive chairman that should come from the same senatorial district that the former chairman came from. But some people were not happy with it. They wanted to retain Lanre Omolashe as the acting chairman, and they wanted to keep on subjecting him to unnecessary control and manipulation. So some of us resisted, and it was expected that Omolashe should call a SEC meeting. There's a difference between SEC and SWC. SEC means State Executive Committee, and that State Executive Committee is made up of many members, chairmen of local government, party executives, and some members of the BOT and other leaders of the party. Whereas the SWC had a very limited number, that is the State Working Committee, the ESCO, the real ESCO. So in a situation where the chairman refuses to call a meeting, the SEC has power to convene a meeting and take a major decision about the party. So since the chairman was not ready to call a meeting, so the SEC now called a meeting. So it was during the process of calling the meeting to resolve all these issues that those who felt that we should not have a substantive chairman just woke up and said, okay, let us preempt these people, and they just went and announced somebody. And SEC now said, look, the SEC now overrode, is it overrode now? So the project was overridden by the SEC, and so we headed up having two national chairmen. So it was now expected that the national body should make a pronouncement. But while waiting for the national body, this group now just went ahead. They went to court. The other group, they never wanted to also have a substantive chairman. So they took advantage of that to go to court to get a court injunction restraining all the two factional chairmen from acting. So by extension, Omolashe now was now brought back to the table to continue to act as the chairman. That is the present state of things. As it is now, Omolashe is still the recognized acting chairman of the party. So until after the court pronouncement, then we know where we are going to. So that is it. So the party is still free. they have not really agreed on the approach to be adopted on how to resolve the little disagreement. So we are together, we are in PDP, but we still have different approaches to issues. For example, the normal practice then was that Dr. Ayodele Fayose, the former governor of Ekiti State, was the one acting as the sole leader of the party. He was the only one giving command, he was the only one giving direction on where the party would go to. So, and some people had been resisting that, and we felt that some of us supported him, but we eventually withdraw that our initial stand will not work in the interest of the party. So we now embraced this collegial system of leadership. Let all the leaders, all the stakeholders come together to decide on where to go. That is what they are doing now. But as it is, some people now want to support them. For example, the former governor saw this development as a challenge to his authority. It's not a challenge. It's a welcome development. It's a means of redeeming him from the negative perception he had earned for himself and for the party. So it's a very simple thing. What he needed just to do is to agree with the people, to work with them, and there'll be no problem.
Okay, recently it was learned that there was a meeting, that the former governor held a meeting with some of the party leaders yesterday, and in the meeting he pronounced it that he's solidly behind the PDP candidates, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, but he still maintained that he's still in the weakest camp. Don't you think this is like a bit relief for the party, even though
Yes.
at least supporting the candidates is a big relief
I
for the
will
party?
agree with you that it's a relief, it's a big relief, but we are still watching. One, initially, his initial stance was that he was not going to support Atiku. Later, his group later came out that they will eventually support Atiku, but with condition. Well, there are some of us who felt that we cannot give a condition that Atiku must be supported. Our support must be unconditional, because as it is now, especially in Ekiti State, the party is an orphan. We have just lost a gubernatorial election, and we cannot afford not to win the presidential election. So we must give whatever it will take for us to win that election. So we cannot afford to give any condition now to be part of the winning team. So that was the difference between us. So when the former governor knew that we were not on the same page on giving condition to the presidential candidate, I think he traced the step. That was why he called that meeting. But because he called that meeting when after we had called our own meeting. Just tell me now. So we eventually having two meetings. The joy of it is that two meetings, the two group agreed to work for Atiku. And his own meeting would rather be seen as an afterthought, because he knew nobody would follow him to challenge the candidature of Atiku. So he flew that kite, but it didn't work. It didn't fly. So he had to come back home to come and give his support to the candidate. And that support, we want him to be categorical. We don't want to be saying that he belongs to any particular group. Whatever group that still insists on giving a condition to the presidential candidate before they support him is not a group that can be trusted. So he should go back home, sleep over it, and decide to leave that group and come out boldly to tell us that he has supported Atiku wholeheartedly. Every human organization has its weaknesses and its strengths. So every human organization is vulnerable to crisis. But the strength is what makes the difference. The APC has a strength. They have an advantage over the PDP. The APC is the ruling government. They have a sitting president. The sitting president is automatically the leader of that group. He can command, he can give order, he can manage the crisis within the party. But here in the PDP, we are not in government, we don't have a father figure who can whip people into lines. So as soon as we win the presidential election, there will be discipline. We will have a leader who can control the party and bring the party together. But as it is now, let us continue to work towards achieving the aim of winning the election. After the election, we see. Very bright. No, I said the joy of the whole thing is that we have a common goal. Almost all the groups have just one goal. That ambition is to win the next presidential election for the party and for the country, to save the country from the present governance of the APC. So even when we are adopting different approaches, we still have a goal. So we arrive at that destination. For example, when Raphael was speaking yesterday, he was asking people, urging people to vote for Atiku. We were asking people to vote for Atiku. So that day, we have one ballot paper. So we have one candidate, we have one party. Even when we are fighting, we are still having one goal. So eventually, it's even a good development because it allows us to mobilize for the party. How I say mobilize the people yesterday, we did our own, we mobilized people. So if we can bring these people together during the election, we are going to win. So the future is very bright. How do you I don't know. A good politician should know that he has two options. It's either he follows the party and do the bidding of the party and work with the party to achieve the goal, the aims and the aspiration of the party, or he leaves the party to join the opposition, and that will be at a very great cost. Because if people should be leaving PDP now and go to APC, he's going to be treated as a stranger in the party. So it's better to be in a party where he belongs to, where he's a landlord, and then try to resolve issues with the government. That the general election is a foregone conclusion. The PDP is going to win because the present state of things gives room for a lot of concerns. So people are not happy, people are disenchanted, people are already tired of APC. So they are looking for somebody to come and rescue them from the claws of the monster called APC. So that's just the advantage. That's just the prospect, because the people cannot afford not to support PDP now. The APC are really disappointed many Nigerians, and they have lost it out. So the people are yearning for a better change. The change they had the other time was a regret. So they are looking for an authentic and a better change to the present government. Because the unifying factor is the presidential candidate. Every PDP man is going to vote for Atiku. You see, there is a difference between disagreeing when you have candidates aspirants and the candidate. But when you have a candidate, you can disagree among yourselves, but you have a single candidate that supports it. And the ultimate thing is that for you to cast your vote for your president. So as soon as you are going to cast your vote for Atiku, I have no problem with you. We can disagree, we can have issues, but if we are going to have the same goal, of voting for Atiku, then what's my problem? There's no problem with that. You are going to win the election. You can't compare that with when some people broke away from the party to another party with a candidate. So the difference between the last gubernatorial crisis and election crisis, when we had gubernatorial election, is that one, Shegoni was part of the party. He took a lot of people from the party to the SDP. So PDP's vote was divided into two. Some people voted for Shegoni, some people voted so that was how we lost the election. But this time around, the Shegoni people, the Fauci people, and another people, all the groups within the party, they have one aim, they have one goal, and the goal is to make sure that the PDP wins the presidential election. So even if they are disagreeing, if they disagree on how to go about it, there is no problem. But the ultimate thing is that nobody is leaving the party down. You get it wrong. The APC is not on grants in Ekiti State. No. The APC was a beneficiary of the crisis within the party, PDP. See what happened in Osun State. People took money from the APC in Osun State and voted PDP. If we had not had crisis in the PDP, if our people had not gone to SDP, people would have taken money from the APC to vote for us. But unfortunately, people deliberately voted against us voted against us as a sort of protest against our seriousness. So this time around, the APC is like a leper. You don't want to associate with a leper because that is highly contagious. Have you learnt a lesson? I said yes, we have learnt a lesson. We learnt the lesson, a bitter one, that the party should be run as a party, not as a personal estate of anybody, not as a business center. Have agreed on that. So the party is going to be taken away from an individual and given to the owners of the party, who will collectively decide on the future of the party and how to manage our party, how to manage our resources, how to manage our election and campaign. So we have learned a lesson, and that is the lesson that is bringing about all the development that we are witnessing.
The administration of President coming up in Ekiti State